Hey guys, it's Josh. This is the Skype for Business recap. It is Monday, not even anywhere close to last Friday, but this is the show for April 21st. We're just recording on April 24th because I did not have time to get to it on Friday, and I actually took a weekend to really just chill and take a deep breath and do a little bit of mental catching up because I've been running just a bit ragged at full speed lately, and we needed to take a step back and just have a breather. So now that that's done, we're getting caught up on a few things, and the recap is one of them. So here we are doing the recap outside. It is a beautiful day. A little bit of nature behind me again. Today's episode, going over things from last week and looking forward to some things ahead, I got to give the disclaimer early on that this is going to be an episode full of shameless self-plugs. And I'm going to own that up front, and it just is what it is. You know, when it's your own show, you can afford to do that kind of stuff. So we are going to have several announcements that are things I am personally involved in. However, they are all for the good of the community, and they are all being put out there as resources. So we're going to tackle those. There are a few things that are not exactly my own work or my own involvement, but mostly it's going to be heavy on that this time. So, all right, disclaimer over. Let's move along. Going to jump over to the Infinity screen. All right, there we go. And we're going to bring up Edge. Okay, so MSUC.Chat. Guys, if you don't know what MSUC.Chat is yet, well, just go to MSUC.Chat and check it out. There's not a whole lot more to say to that. It is a monthly virtual meeting, kind of an open mic style rather than typical user group where you have speakers leading certain presentations. It is user group in that a whole bunch of us from all across the social community, LinkedIn, Twitter, all that, across the greater Skype for Business community, get together on this monthly call. It's a great chance to get to know people you might interact with in other ways, put some personality to the communication, to the faces, and ask some questions, get some questions answered, just catch up and get fresh perspectives on topics that have come up or news that has developed over the last month. It is a great concept, just a way for us all to get together in a free-flowing format, get to know each other, and have a good time. I hope you guys can make it. It's as simple as joining via the client or the web client, adding to your calendar, getting your local time up here. This meeting, normally on Friday, is going to be Thursday, April 27th. That's this week, this Thursday, 3:30 p.m. UTC. And so get your local times there for those in the U.S. For everybody over in APAC, big apologies. We just aren't able to satisfy all parts of the globe with times that are not obnoxious. So sorry about the inconvenience of how that lines up. But yeah, like I said, read more about us at you can go to the homepage, see all the previous posts that have been put together. You can go over to the host page. Got kind of a slow connection today. The host page has a little bit of info about the 4 co-organizers of the group. We have Tamara Busnot, Ian, finally loaded here. Okay, so we got Ian, Ben, and then myself on the host page, and a little blurb about each of us and kind of the things that make us tick and how we're involved with the community at a greater scale. And then the event sign-up page over here where you can go and register to get notifications for future meeting announcements. So go to MSUC.Chat, check it out, and I hope we will see you guys all this Thursday. Should be a good time hanging out. All right? Man, this is slow loading. I need to try not to click on too much. All right. Next up, another user group, but this is in-person user group. This is the Skype for Business user group, the greater organization called Skype for Business user group. I am a local chapter organizer for the group, and we are getting ready to launch our Q2 meetings across the U.S. We've got about, I want to say, 20 different locations throughout the U.S. where we conduct local user group meetings. We have a couple presentations for each of those quarterly meetings. They are the same across the entire group. We have the same set of sponsors across the whole group, and therefore some really good raffle and door prizes to be had when you come in. And then we have usually a meal, lunch or dinner or a good snack or whatever happens to be the case, whatever works out for each organization or each location, I should say. Q2 in Austin, since I'm the local chapter organizer for Austin, is taking place on May 12th, 11:30 a.m. CDT to 2:30 p.m. CDT. Okay, so the thing about May 12th, that's a Friday. And typically we don't do these things on Fridays because it's the end of the week and people just want to get home. What I'm banking on here, since Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 2 weeks in a row, was not available at the Microsoft office we do this at, what I'm banking on is that this is lunchtime on a Friday. So I know a lot of you local Austinites, it's Friday, it's been a long week, you're kind of looking to get out of the office and take it a little slower the last day. So this gives you a chance before the end of the day to get out, get a free lunch, maybe win some awesome prizes, socialize with people in your local community that do what you do, and just have a good time hanging out for a couple hours at the Microsoft office in town. Win-win, right? So register on the page here. Join this small group of people that is already signed up. Please register early. We had like a ton of people sign up at the last minute, and I had to do some last minute catering scrambling. It all worked out, and we just barely had enough barbecue. So make sure you register with plenty of notice and get it on your calendar, okay? If you're from any of the other cities, check out those locations up here. Check out our sponsors up here, a little bit more about us and all the people involved here, and get in contact with us if you want to over here. Perfect. Next up, next shameless plug. Integration Partners and Sonus are doing a collaborative joint webinar in May 3rd, 2017, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. The topic, that's Eastern time, the topic is going to be Cloudpbx and all paths leading to it, how organizations are using and adopting it. The title is On the Road to Cloud Communications. This will be a great webinar. Again, I'm really looking forward to this. I will be hosting this alongside Matt Hurst of Sonus. Little blurb about each of us on the registration page. Please go to the registration page, sign up, and I hope you guys will join us. We've already got a really good amount of people that have signed up for this. I can't wait to talk a little bit more about Cloudpbx. This is going to be a good time. One of the big catches for you guys, if you attend, there's also this handy little chance up here to win a drawing for a Microsoft Surface Pro 4. Not bad. So we hope you guys can join us. We hope you will come and enjoy learning a little bit more about Cloudpbx and some of the awesome paths that your organization can take to get to it and start using it. All right. Next up, yes, my blog, the Shameless Self-Plugs Do Not End. This is an older blog post, okay, but I'm resurrecting it to add this little section up top. It is an updated blog post because it is about Tenant Dial Plans that went into preview back in February. This last week, Microsoft released them to GA. They are in general availability. If you have been waiting for Tenant Dial Plans, which provides a way for those of you using Cloudpbx to have custom dial plans for 4 or 5-digit dialing or other weird dialing rules that you want to put out there, you can now go out there and start using the commandlets that are given to configure that in your organization's tenant. Very, very cool. This link here goes over to this page, which looks like it didn't load properly, and we'll just try to hit refresh and see. It's not working. So I've got a connectivity issue happening here. Go over to that link and check it out. That is the Tech Community blog post where they have links to all the training. Heads up, there is no new information in the training documents. What they are is pretty much the fact that it's no longer in preview, so all that preview language has been taken out, and external access prefix is not supported at GA. So no external access prefix yet, but everything else is pretty much the same. So feel free to check out the training, though, if you have not checked it out and you've been waiting for something like this. Hopefully we'll see this functionality hit a GUI sometime this year as well. That'd be pretty cool. All right, so hopping over to Mr. Matt Landis's blog. Matt is another MVP in the community. Pretty well known one at that. He's had some very well downloaded how-to books out on the TechNet Gallery. And his company is known, of course, for their Attendant Pro. This blog post is one that I love and I had to share and I had to talk about. This is one that is a concept post he did about what it would be like, one of the possible ways Skype for Business and Microsoft Teams, those experiences could be joined together or integrated. He makes that declaration down here that this is not Microsoft's stuff. This is not ideas that they already have in the works. This is his idea, one possibility of how we could bring together the Teams experience with the Skype for Business experience. And I love the way he lays this down. He tells a very good story, starting with your main window concept. And we're looking at this from the perspective of the Skype for Business client. He says if a new notification from a Microsoft Teams comes in, it shows up on the main Skype for Business window as shown below. We got our notifications up here, okay? And we'll notice that's the little Teams logo up there, right? So then we move along down, and it says, I think that's the Teams logo. Maybe I was just talking out of my, and it's not. But anyway, Teams list concept. Click on the Teams main tab, which is the same tab here, and the Teams sub-tab shows Microsoft Teams. All right, so there's our Teams sub-tab, and here's all the different teams we've got in our actual Teams app. If we go down a bit further, click on a team to join the ongoing conversation. Another window opens up to join that conversation. Regular window you're used to already seeing. And look at that, GIFs. There's a GIF in the window. Reply or start a new conversation. Click on audio or video to start real-time calling using Teams. If the user has rights, they can add another member to the team. As an alternative, clicking on the Teams list could deep link to open the team in the Microsoft Teams app. I love where he's going here. All this interconnectivity and working together. It's beautiful. And then activity feed list concept. Again, he's pointing out this is conceptual. This is not a real client. This is what he is envisioning this could look like. This would essentially display in the Skype for Business user interface version of the Microsoft Teams activity list. Here we go. So we got an activity feed list, conversation window. Conversation window could be a Skype for Business-esque pop-out window. Then search. When you were on the Teams tab in the Skype for Business client, you could search just like in the Teams app, which is very cool. I like the idea. I like where Matt is going here. He has a few more things he says about it. I'd really encourage you to go and read this. I really hope it caught the attention of the product team over at Skype for Business. And like Matt points out here, Microsoft Teams has noted the integration between Skype for Business and Teams, suggested by myself over on the user voice site for Teams, is under review. And since Microsoft has announced this on all their Twitter accounts, we're kind of assuming that it actually is under review. So we're saying, please go out to the user voice site and vote this up. I think it's rated like number 13 right now. Let's try to get it up into the top 10, right? And really catch their attention and hopefully get some traction on this sooner rather than later. I know so many people that are loving Teams, but know that Skype for Business isn't going anywhere with their organization anytime soon, and they really want to see the two be able to melt together where possible. So check this out. Check this post out and think on it, all right? Maybe vote up that idea on the user voice site if you can. Tom Morgan, another MVP, has a great post out here. I'm not going to talk much about this because I'm not a dev and I sound dumb when I try to talk like a dev. So read what he's got here. The whole point that he's highlighting is he's kind of building off of another comment that was made on the Teams user voice site, but that Microsoft is actively working, per their comment, on a Teams API. How incredible would that be? It would be incredible. Tom links to a couple other posts that he's got about other features that are coming up and how Teams is built under the hood. Very interesting read. Check both of those out and read more about what he's got to say. Lots of great information, and I'm really hoping to see an API announced sooner rather than later. I think that it could only help with the adoption and the popular position that Teams already enjoys. Last topic for the day, the UC Architects came out with episode 63 entitled To Go Off on a Tangent. Our host for this one was none other than MVP Steve Goodman. We had John Cook as his co-host. Andrew Price did the editing as usual. Great job, by the way, to all three. and a number of really good topics that were dived into, from Exchange to Office 365, a great number in Link and Skype for Business. I think one of the big topics that took a while and made this episode a little longer was a comparison between Google Suite and Office 365. And as they point out, are we still having this conversation? So great job on this episode, guys. Congrats on an episode 63. Quite a feat. You can listen to the podcast at the bottom here or download it down here if that works better for you. And be sure to check out all the other information on their site about this. As always, let me jump back over to my main Infinity screen and my main window. As always, I'm going to include links to each of these topics in the YouTube video description, so you can go check any of them out and dive deeper into any one of them. I had a large number of tabs to go over in the browser today, so I feel like I'm kind of rushing through it and almost speeding my words up too much. But, it is what it is. Had a lot of ground to cover. And we did. Thanks for joining me. Sorry I'm late. Hopefully we'll have another episode at the end of this week rather than the beginning of next. And you guys have a great, productive rest of your week. Thanks again. Adios.